The marble plaque gleamed under the university spotlights, and I could barely breathe as the dean's voice echoed across the auditorium, the Sophia Chin Innovation Center. My parents sat frozen in the third row, their faces pale as ghosts. The same parents who once told me I was too stupid for college. The same parents who took my younger brother to every family celebration while I stayed home to help with chores. Now, hundreds of people were applauding as my name was permanently etched into this institution's history. But what happened next? What I said into that microphone changed everything between us forever. My name is Sophia Chan, and I'm 28 years old. For most of my life, I believed I was the family disappointment. The daughter who wasn't smart enough, pretty enough, or worthy enough to deserve their pride. It took me 10 years to realize that sometimes the people who should believe in you the most are the ones who damage you the deepest. This is the story of how I went from being called a failure to having a building named after me. And trust me, the revenge was sweeter than I ever imagined. Growing up, I was always the afterthought in my family. My parents, David and Linda, immigrated from Taiwan with big dreams and bigger expectations. My younger brother Kevin was their golden child, straight A's, perfect SAT scores, early admission to MIT. I was the one who tried hard but never seemed to shine bright enough. The day that changed everything happened on my high school graduation day. I still remember the excitement bubbling in my chest as I got ready that morning. I'd worked so hard to graduate with decent grades despite struggling with undiagnosed dyslexia. I thought this would finally be my moment. "Mom, Dad, we need to leave in 30 minutes, I called out, adjusting my cap for the 100th time. My mother appeared in the doorway, her expression unreadable. "Sophia, we need to talk." Something in her tone made my stomach drop. "What's wrong?" "Kevin has his science fair today. The state championships. It's more important." I stared at her, not understanding. "But, it's my graduation." My father stepped behind her, his face stern. "Kevin's future is at stake. He could get a full scholarship. Your graduation is just ceremony. You'll get your diploma either way." The words hit me like a physical blow. "Just ceremony? Be realistic, Sophia," my mother said, her voice becoming cold. "Kevin is university material. You're different. It's better you stay home anyway. Maybe start thinking about secretarial school or something practical." I watched through my bedroom window as they loaded into the car with Kevin, his science project carefully secured in the back seat. My cap and gown hung on my door like abandoned dreams. That night, I sat alone in my room, holding my diploma, delivered by a neighbor who'd attended the ceremony. No photos. No celebration. No recognition. Just me and a piece of paper that suddenly felt worthless. But what they said next was even worse. The following morning, I found them in the kitchen, glowing with pride. Kevin had won first place. "We're so proud," my mother beamed, not looking at me. "Kevin is going places." "What about me?" I whispered, still holding my diploma. My father barely glanced up from his newspaper. "Sophia, you need to be realistic about your limitations. Not everyone is meant for great things. Maybe you could work at your uncle's restaurant. Honest work." Those words, "not everyone is meant for great things," burned into my soul like a brand. At 18, I believed them. I believed I was ordinary. I believed I was the daughter who would always disappoint. But what happened next started a fire inside me that would burn for 10 years. The struggle years, building empathy, I took a job at a local cafe, saving every penny while watching Kevin's college acceptance letters pile up on the kitchen counter. MIT, Stanford, Caltech, doors were opening for him that my parents insisted were never meant for me. See, my mother would say whenever Kevin's achievements were mentioned. Some people are just naturally gifted. The implication was clear, I wasn't. At 19, I enrolled in community college using my cafe earnings. My parents barely acknowledged it. Waste of money, my father muttered. You should focus on finding a husband. Every semester was a battle. My dyslexia made reading painfully slow, but I refused to give up. I studied in that cafe during every break, highlighting textbooks with shaking hands, determined to prove them wrong. The financial stress was crushing. Some nights, I chose between textbooks and dinner. Some months, I worked double shifts just to afford tuition. My parents never offered help, Kevin's education was their priority. I was expected to figure it out alone. But the emotional toll was worse than the financial one. During family gatherings, I became invisible. Aunts and uncles would ask about Kevin's accomplishments while I served tea and cleaned dishes. I was the family maid, not the family daughter. Kevin got an internship at Google, my mother would announce proudly. And Sophia, an aunt would ask politely. Oh, she's still in school, my mother would say, her tone suggesting this was somehow shameful. I remember one Thanksgiving when I was 21, finally transferring to a 4-year university with a partial scholarship I'd earned through pure determination. I thought they'd be proud. It's just a state school, my father said dismissively. Kevin is at MIT. Not everyone can be MIT material, my mother added, patting my hand condescendingly. That night, I made a decision that would change my life forever. The turning point, the fire ignites, I was done trying to earn their approval. Done shrinking myself to make Kevin shine brighter. Done believing their version of my worth. If they thought I wasn't MIT material, I'd prove them wrong. Not by becoming Kevin, but by becoming the best version of myself they'd never bothered to see. I changed my major to computer science, something that terrified me but challenged me. I sought help for my dyslexia and learned adaptive strategies. I joined study groups where my different way of thinking was valued, not dismissed. The work was brutal. While other students grasped concepts quickly, I had to work twice as hard for the same understanding. But something magical happened in that struggle. I discovered I wasn't ordinary at all. My brain just worked differently, and that difference was actually a strength. But what happened next shocked everyone, including myself. By my junior year, I was designing software solutions that impressed my professors. My different thinking style, the same one my parents called limited, allowed me to see problems from unique angles. I developed an app that helped students with learning disabilities navigate college resources. It started small, just helping kids in my dorm, but word spread. Soon, universities across the state were asking about it. This is revolutionary, my computer science professor told me. You're solving problems most people don't even see. For the first time in my life, someone saw my differences as gifts, not defects. I pitched my app to local investors. Most rejected me, a young woman with no business experience from a state school. But one believed in my vision. Sarah Martinez, a successful entrepreneur who'd also overcome family doubt. They told me I wasn't business material either, she said, signing my funding agreement. Let's prove them wrong together. My app, called Learning Bridge, launched during my senior year. Within 6 months, it was being used in over 50 universities. Within a year, I had a team of 12 employees and offers from major tech companies wanting to acquire us. My parents heard about it through relatives, not from me. I'd stopped sharing my achievements after years of dismissal. It's probably just a fad, my mother told my aunt, who'd called to congratulate them on my success. These tech things never last, my father agreed. But what they didn't know was that I'd been invited to speak at tech conferences. Major companies were courting me. And the university where I'd struggled through those early years was about to make me an offer that would change everything. Dr. Williams, the dean of the computer science department, called me into her office on a rainy Tuesday in March. "Sophia, I have something extraordinary to discuss with you." She told me about the university's plans for a new innovation center, a space where students with learning differences could access cutting-edge technology and support. They wanted to name it after me and have me design the programs. "Your app has already helped thousands of students," she said. "But this center could impact generations." I stared at her, speechless. Me? The girl who was not university material? The daughter who wasn't worthy of attending her own graduation? "There's more," Dr. Williams continued. "We'd like to hold a dedication ceremony. National media attention. It would put our university on the map as a leader in inclusive education." My first thought wasn't pride, it was fear. What would my parents think? Would they finally see me, or would they find new ways to diminish this achievement? But what happened next changed everything. I sent my parents a formal invitation to the dedication ceremony, along with a newspaper article about the Innovation Center. For 3 days, silence. Then my mother called. "Sophia, we got your invitation." And? A long pause. "We're surprised. We didn't know you were doing so well." Something in her voice was different. Uncertain. Maybe even proud? "We'd like to come," my father's voice joined the call. "If that's okay." For 28 years, I'd dreamed of hearing those words. Now that I felt something unexpected, power. Not the cruel kind they'd wielded over me, but the quiet strength that comes from knowing your own worth. "Of course," I said simply. "I'll arrange tickets." The day of the dedication, I stood backstage in my first designer dress, something I'd bought to celebrate my success, not to impress anyone else. Through the curtains, I could see the packed auditorium. Tech industry leaders, university officials, students whose lives had been changed by my app. And there, in the third row, sat my parents. They looked small somehow, overwhelmed by the magnitude of what their limited daughter had achieved. Kevin was there too, having flown in from his job at a prestigious consulting firm. He caught my eye and nodded with what looked like genuine respect. Maybe even admiration. Dean Williams took the podium. "Today, we honor a young woman who turned her struggles into strength, her differences into innovation. Sophia Chen didn't just overcome dyslexia, she used her unique perspective to revolutionize how we support struggling students." The applause was thunderous. I walked onto that stage with my head high, no longer the invisible daughter or the family disappointment. I was Dr. Sophia Chen, successful entrepreneur, innovator, and advocate. But what I said next was the moment I'd been building toward my entire life. I stood at that podium, looking out at hundreds of faces, and spoke my truth. 10 years ago, I was told I wasn't university material. I was told to be realistic about my limitations. I was told that not everyone is meant for great things. I paused, my eyes finding my parents in the audience. They looked pale, recognizing their own words. I believed those words for a long time. I almost let them define me. But today, I want to share something with every young person who's been told they're not enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough. My voice grew stronger with each word. Your limitations are not your destiny. Your struggles are not your story's end. Sometimes the people who should believe in you most will be the ones who doubt you hardest. But that doesn't mean you have to doubt yourself. The applause started building, but I wasn't finished. This innovation center isn't just named after me, It's named after every student who was told they couldn't, every dreamer who was called unrealistic, every person who turned their pain into purpose. I looked directly at my parents. To the families watching, believe in your children, especially the ones who learn differently, think differently, or dream differently. They might just change the world. The standing ovation lasted 5 minutes. But the look in my parents' eyes lasted forever. The aftermath, truth and healing. After the ceremony, we sat in my hotel suite, my parents, Kevin, and me. The silence was heavy with unspoken words. Finally, my mother spoke. Sophia, we were wrong. My father, who'd rarely admitted fault in his life, looked broken. We failed you. We thought we were protecting you from disappointment, but we were just protecting ourselves from seeing our own limitations as parents. I felt something inside me shift. Not forgiveness exactly, but understanding. You taught me something valuable, I said quietly. You taught me that I couldn't depend on anyone else to believe in me. I had to believe in myself first. Kevin spoke up. I always knew you were special. I was just too selfish to defend you. I'm sorry. We talked until dawn about pain and pride, about fear and forgiveness. They couldn't undo the years of doubt they'd planted in my mind, but they could finally see the garden I'd grown despite them. 3 months later, my parents attended the first graduation ceremony held at the Sophia Chin Innovation Center. They watched as dozens of students with learning differences walked across that stage, students who might have given up if they hadn't found support and belief in themselves. My mother found me afterward, tears in her eyes. This is what you were meant to do. We just couldn't see it. My father, still struggling with his pride, managed to say, I'm sorry we almost made you as blind to your gifts as we were. It wasn't a perfect reconciliation. Some wounds take time to heal. But it was a beginning. Today, Learning Bridge operates in over 300 universities worldwide. The Innovation Center has helped thousands of students discover their unique strengths. And I wake up every morning knowing that the girl who was once told she wasn't meant for great things has built something greater than she ever imagined. If you're watching this and you've ever been told you're not enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough, I see you. I was you. And I'm here to tell you that other people's limitations on you are not your limitations on yourself. Your family might not understand your dreams. Your teachers might not recognize your potential. Your friends might not support your ambitions. But none of that matters as much as what you believe about yourself. The path won't be easy. There will be moments when their voices feel louder than your dreams. When financial stress makes every step harder. When loneliness makes you question whether you're fooling yourself. But keep going anyway. Because somewhere out there is a version of yourself that you haven't met yet, the one who turns pain into purpose, struggles into strength, and doubt into determination. The one who proves that being different isn't being deficient, it's being distinctive. Your worth isn't determined by other people's vision of your future. It's determined by your willingness to create that future yourself, one brave step at a time. They told me I wasn't meant for great things. I decided to define greatness for myself. And you can too. The marble plaque still gleams in that university hallway, a permanent reminder that sometimes the people who doubt you most give you the greatest gift of all, the motivation to prove them wrong. Not for them. For you. Because you were always meant for great things. You just needed to believe it first.